In August 2021, Gabby Petito was murdered by her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie. Approximately 2 weeks before she was killed, Miss Petito and Mr. Laundrie were on a cross-country road trip when they were stopped by police for possible domestic violence. This episode will cover, analyze, and talk about what went wrong during that traffic stop. August 12, 2021, Moab, Utah. 911 caller reports seeing Brian Laundrie slap Gabby Petito.
We're driving by and I'd like to report a domestic dispute. Florida with the white van, Florida license plate, white land, gentleman,
Where's
about
it at?
5'6", beard. They just drove off. They're going down Main Street. They made a right onto Main Street from Moonflower. We drove by and the gentleman was slapping the girl.
He was slapping her?
Yes, and then we stopped. They ran up and down the sidewalk. He proceeded to hit her, hopped in the car, and they drove off.
Officer Daniel Robbins locates Laundrie and Petito's vehicle and pulls it over. The 911 caller's allegation of domestic violence is sufficient reason to pull that car over.
You want to place your vehicle into park and go ahead and turn it off for me? No, park?
Oh, it isn't parked yet.
Okay, turn off your engine. Go ahead and set your keys on the dash for me, all right? What's your guys' names?
Gabby.
Gabby, Brian? Okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday and camping got flies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving, I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
Yeah. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay? Why don't you come over here? SO229, I have the female that was on the passenger seat separated from the male. Keys are on the hood. You want to tell me what's going on?
Yeah.
So, this is not the way I would have started out this traffic stop. This is a domestic violence call. While separating the parties was good, this officer left the suspect by himself. With the information the officer has at this point, Mr. Laundrie is a suspect in a domestic violence call. And he's still in control of that vehicle. Does he have a gun in there? Is he going to take off? Is he going to back up and try to hit the officer or Miss Petito? Is there anybody else inside the van? Kids? Who knows? You get the point. The first thing you do at any radio call is make the scene safe. Before you interview victims, witnesses, before you process the crime scene, make the scene safe. This scene is not safe. The suspect is sitting by himself, unsupervised, in a vehicle. Moving on.
I don't know, it's just, some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him, I just like, I guess my vibe is like, I am like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That's my
That's
job.
cool.
And I just quit my job to travel across the country, and I'm trying to start a blog. I just have a blog and stuff, so I've been building my website, so I've just been really stressed, and he doesn't really believe that I could do any of it, so that's kind of been like a, I don't know, he's like down there. I don't know, we've just been fighting all morning, and he wouldn't let me in the car before. And then
Why wouldn't he let you in the car? Because of
told
your OCD?
He told me I needed to calm down. Yeah. But I am perfectly calm. I'm calm all the time. And he really stresses me out. And this is a rough morning.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't I sit you down in the back seat of my car? You're not in any trouble, okay? I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you. You obviously don't have any weapons. I'm going to get you into the air conditioning, let you take a breath, relax a little bit, and then I'll come back and talk to you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right. Like I said, you're not in any trouble. So just go ahead and take a seat. Watch your feet.
Quick note here, the officer just put a victim in the backseat of his car and shut the door. She is locked into that backseat. What if the car's air conditioning fails? I've read a handful of news articles about police canines dying in the backseat of a patrol car because their handler left them in the backseat for a long time on a hot day and the air conditioning cut out. I believe that if you put somebody in the backseat of a patrol car, an officer should continuously monitor that person, whether it's a victim or suspect. Also, I don't know what kind of interview that was. The officer didn't really learn much about the incident from Miss Petito. Victim or witness interviews should be conducted in a methodical manner. I'll talk more about this as we move further into the incident.
Gabrielle, you talked to my fiance, right?
What's that?
You talked to Gabrielle, right?
Yeah, I just spoke to her.
Yeah.
So, you want to do me a favor? Let's go ahead and get you to step out of the vehicle, alrighty? Come on over here. You're not in any trouble right now. So, tell me what's going on.
So now the officer is interviewing Mr. Laundrie, and the officer hasn't even done a pat down for weapons yet. This is a domestic violence suspect. The officer has a reasonable suspicion that Mr. Laundrie may become violent. Thus, a pat down is legal and warranted.
She just gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her, so like I lock the car and I walk away from her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to start up like her own little website blog and everything, so I give her time, and we really had a nice morning if anything, but she just got worked up because we were trying to get going and get our day going because we want to go like arches before the Sunday time.
Okay. You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She had a cell phone in her hand, that's why I was pushing her away, because she wanted me, I locked the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not, go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute because she was getting a little worked up. And then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys from me, so I got in the way. I was just trying to, I know I shouldn't push, but I was just trying to push her away to go, let's just take a minute, step back and breathe. And she got me with her phone.
Can I see your hand? Oh, you got a mark right here.
Oh, that's from a wire.
That's from a wire?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about hitting that curb?
Hitting the curb was her grabbing the wheel.
She grabbed the wheel?
Yeah. She said, I can't believe we're getting pulled over, and then she grabbed the wheel.
What about the speed? Did she take over the...
No, I
over the pedal on you?
If I was going fast, I'm sorry. No, it's probably just the moment of like, I'm still shaking now. The adrenaline, seeing the lights flashing up, and then her gripping the wheel. So if I sped up, I'm sorry about that. Or if I was speeding beforehand, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, it took quite a bit to catch up to you. So,
yeah. I'm sorry about that. We're just going into the park again to get water because we have a 6-gallon water container to fill up. So we're just grabbing water for the hike. Okay. And I was trying to keep everything calm and quiet because there's plans still to go for a hike, but it's good. I'm really sorry about that.
Of course. Do me a favor. You want to go ahead and just take a seat right over here on the curb for me?
So again, not a real great interview. The best way to do an interview is a 2-step process. Step 1, just ask the person what happened. This will help give you a basic interview of what's going on, and it'll also give you an unbiased statement with no interference from questions. But inevitably, the witness is going to gloss over or miss important things. So step 2 is to get the statement again, but this time the officer asks questions and has the witness go step by step into the incident until they have a full, detailed picture of what happened. And a very important part of step 2 is to write the statement down. If the officer doesn't write it down, he will surely miss subtle details when making an arrest decision or writing a report. Let's face it, if your memory's that good and you can remember all those details without writing anything down and you're that smart, you're probably not a cop.
And if I was speeding, I'm sorry. I want to apologize.
You don't have anything in that pocket or anything like that, do you?
Nope.
Just the wallet? Alright. And then, do you mind lifting your shirt so I can check your waistband? Turn around for me real quick. Perfect.
Nothing.
I guess I missed that class at the academy where you have the suspect do their own pat down. Not a good idea.
I just want to make sure, that's all, man. Go ahead, do me a favor, take a seat, alright? Quick question, you said you were hitting him in the arm. Did you grab the steering wheel?
No, I didn't.
You did not touch the steering wheel?
I didn't touch the steering wheel, but only for like a second, because I just saw the lights come on, and it was more just like, you're an idiot. Like,
But did you grab the steering wheel and like
No.
swerve or anything like that?
No. I didn't touch the steering wheel at all.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and close this door again. Do you have enough air back here, or do you want me to kick it up some more?
Do you have any water?
I will see if I can find some.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Right for me. wouldn't happen to have any water, would you? Oh, yeah. Can I get a bottle?
Did you already give a statement to this officer? I've got this gentleman here. Yeah. This gentleman noticed that you had some marks on your neck. Yeah. And she's got some marks on her too. We're just trying to figure out what all happened. And I know you probably already told your story. This officer is probably going to be the one handling the whole case. Do you want to listen to what he has to say and then you tell him what happened. So if you don't mind.
Start at the beginning for me. Over.
See, this is what I'm talking about. The officer's going to get Mr. Laundrie's statement again. At this point, he's already talked to Mr. Laundrie once and Miss Petito twice, but he's accomplished almost nothing so far because he doesn't have a methodical process for taking those statements. And most importantly, he's not writing anything down. If you're interested in learning more about witness interviews, I did a whole episode on them. I'll put a link to episode 17 on the screen right now. Alright, so here we go. We're going to get Mr. Laundrie's statement again.
Start at the beginning. Well, I don't want to go too far back, but we've been in BLM land for the past week or so, traveling around, and the flies here are pretty intense. So the flies have definitely been getting to her, and then my feet are dirty and everything. So I think that our little squabble started because we were hanging out at the coffee shop, and when we got back to the van, there was some dirt and stuff in the van, and I moved our food around. It was a little disorganized, so she gets a little.
Will you take those? Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Do you need any water?
That's okay.
It's hot out here.
We were going to get water because we ran out, but it's okay. No, it's alright. I don't like plastic bottles. It's okay. Thank you, though. But we just had a little disagreement there. Disagreement was just that she was getting a little worked up, and I was saying, no, it's okay. Thank you. It's okay.
As long as it's cool. That's good.
So it was just more of a disagreement, and I just wanted to say...
What was the disagreement about?
It was, I wouldn't even call it disagreement. It was just that I'm dirty and I can't change being dirty. Like, I got dirty feet, I got sand on my flip-flops and stuff like that. It was that we were at the coffee shop for so long because we were there from 9 to 3. So yeah, there's a few little things, little relationships. I don't know if you have a relationship, but I'm sure you have.
I've been married for over 5 years now. So.
There's a lot of little things, right?
Yeah, I can go.
And
I get it.
We weren't physical before the point where I said, all right, let's just take a breather and walk away for a minute. I'll lock the van up and I'll go for a walk this way, and you can go walk that way on the block. There's that what is it called, Moonflower?
Right, yeah.
Nice areas. You can go either way. It's all shaded. So let's go for a little walk and breathe. Come back. Because we're happy with it. I'm not upset with her. She got a little worked up, and she had her phone in her hand and her keys and everything. And she wanted, not her keys, her rings, her phone. And I was holding on to the keys because I didn't want to go anywhere. And my big fear is, I don't have my phone. I don't have a phone. So she goes off without me. I'm on my own. So I was saying, let's just go for a walk, and she was trying to get the keys for me. So I was just going, just wait, back up, and that's when she hit me. And I didn't get. I don't want to push you, but I didn't get overtly physical. I was just trying to keep her away and not get hit. And then I got really loud, and that's probably whoever's attention where I was going. Back up, get away, just give me a...
Okay, so you said you pushed her to create some distance, obviously, right? What happened after that? What got the scratches on your eye?
The phone.
The phone? So you pushed her and she hit you?
It wasn't like a push and she jumped on me. She was already, I don't want to, she was already swinging, and I was a lot of angles, a lot of nails, a lot of rings. Yeah.
So basically, Mr. Laundrie's statement is this. He and Miss Petito got into an argument because he's too dirty. He wanted them to separate, take a walk, and take a break from each other to cool off. While they did so, he wanted to retain possession of the keys to the van so that she didn't drive off without him. So he kept the keys in his pocket. She wanted the keys out of his pocket, and he wouldn't give them to her, so she tried to take them by force. While doing so, he's saying that she lunged at him and scratched him in the face with her keys and her phone.
You got 3 scratches in your neck. You got one on your left side of your face. You got one in your face here, and you got 4 bleeding over it. So you just try to. So it looks like 2 hands.
Do you mind lifting up your right sleeve for me? I'm curious about something.
It's a little bit of nails. I suppose fingernails, but I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about
Is it bruised or tender or anything like that?
No. Okay. I'm fine, and I look at it. I hope she doesn't have too many complaints about me. I'm just, I feel bad I had to get so public. I was just trying to be loud. So this is, try to make her calm down and be like, look, everyone's watching. And I'm like, stop this.
Just hang tight for me.
The officers noticed several scratches on Mr. Laundrie's face and arm, but Mr. Laundrie minimized these scratches and says he doesn't want anything done. Officer Pratt talked to Miss Petito and got her statement, so let's switch over to his body cam and watch that.
Hey, how are you? My name's Eric. I'm with Moab Police. What's your name?
Gabby.
Gabby, how old are you?
I'm 22.
What happened? What's going on?
I'm just having a very stressed morning.
Yeah. Is this your husband or boyfriend?
My fiance.
Fiance? Is he a pretty good guy?
Yeah.
What happened over at Moonflower?
Well, I was just really stressed this morning trying to get a lot of work done, and I was apologizing to him. I had thrown a bunch of stuff in the bag, all our bags are back there. I was just apologizing. I was like, I'm sorry that I get so stressed out because I have OCD and I was just like organizing stuff, and sometimes I just have a mean attitude, but I'm not trying to be mean about just straightening things up and stuff. So I was just apologizing, but I guess I said it in like a mean tone, and he got really frustrated with me, and he locked me out of the car and told me to go take a breather, but I didn't want to take a breather because I wanted to get going. We're out of water.
So it kind of made you more upset.
Yeah,
it didn't help calm you, it made you more upset.
Yeah. And,
so then what happened?
And so our goal was to come here and come refill our water.
Are you guys living out of the van right now? On travels?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was just really.
So what happened after he locked you out? I told you to take a breather.
Well, he walked away to go take his own breather, but I wanted to sit in the car because all my stuff was in the car. I had none of my bag. I was working on something at the moment in the car, and he told me to just relax for a second, and I didn't want to relax, so I got really mad. I mean, I don't need to be mad.
Yeah, that happens. Then what happened?
And then I told him to drive and get water because I was really thirsty.
Yeah? Is there something on your cheek here? Looks like, did you get hit in the face? Kind of looks like something like hit you in the face. And then over on your arm, shoulder, right here. That's new, huh? It's kind of a new mark.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Can I see the other side of your face? So, what happened here and here?
I'm not sure. It was I was just trying to get in the back of the car, and his backpack was on the back. And got me.
So the backpack got you? So there's two people that came to us and told us that they saw him hit you. There's two people saying that they saw him punch you. We're just independent witnesses by Moonflower.
Well, to be honest, I definitely hit him first.
Where'd you hit him?
I slapped him.
You slapped him first? And then what, just on his face?
You get to kind of just shut up.
How many times did you slap him?
Just a couple.
And then what? And his reaction was to do what?
Okay, so I really slapped him.
He just grabbed you?
Yeah.
Did he hit you though? I mean, it's okay if you're saying you hit him, and then I understand if he hit you, but we want to know the truth if he actually hit you. Because you know.
I guess, yeah, but I hit him first.
Where did he hit you? Don't worry, just be honest.
He grabbed my face, like, I guess. He didn't like hit me in the face, like he didn't like punch me in the face or anything.
Did he slap your face or what?
Well, like he like grabbed me like with his nail, and I guess that's why it was. I definitely have a cut right here, because I can feel it.
Yeah.
When I touch it, it burns. But
okay. So has he been drinking?
no, we don't drink.
Okay. What was up with his driving? This officer said he hit a curb.
I hit him.
While you were driving?
Well, he was driving.
While he was driving, you were hitting him?
Well, not a lot, but yeah.
And that was distracting him while he's driving? Are you
Not only for like a second, only because I saw the light come on, and I like kind of like so stupid.
Did you already tell him all this?
I didn't get that far into it.
So, I'm not really happy with that statement. I don't feel we have a clear understanding of her side of the story. The best I could glean from that was that they got into an argument and he locked her out of the van. Then she slapped him a few times and he grabbed her arm and her face to try to keep her off of him. She also said that she punched him in the arm when he was driving, which made him hit the curb. I think there's a lot of details missing there. I'd like to hear more about exactly why she was locked out of the van, and everybody's position and the dynamics of when she slapped him, because Mr. Laundrie doesn't really have a right to lock her out of the van. At this point in their travels, that van is basically their house, so he's locking her out of their house in an unfamiliar area with no water, and it looks pretty hot, so a certain amount of force on her part may have been justified to get back in the van, but it's hard to say for sure because we don't know the details of how it happened. The details are very important in this situation. Officer Pratt also interviewed one of the witnesses over the phone.
Police, how are you? Hey, we got this van stopped and we've separated the male and the female and we got both of their stories. Now that we're not looking for them so intensely, I was just wondering if you had a minute to just kind of repeat to me what it is exactly you saw.
No problem, sir. Yeah, so I was talking to my friend across the street near the Forest Service building, and I just noticed that this couple was sort of arguing a bit, and I wasn't staring at them, but it catch my attention, and what I noticed is it seemed like they were sort of squabbling over a phone. I want to say that he was trying to grab her phone, and I'm not sure exactly why, and then it seems like he had sort of blocked the one side of the van and sort of wasn't letting her in, and then the male was stepping into the driver's seat, and she was trying to get into the van, and he said something about why you didn't know me, something like that, and I remember he sort of hit him a few times, and it wasn't like slugs in the face, it was just kind of like two kids kind of fighting. It reminded me of very mature, I don't know, children sort of fighting. But there seemed like something was off, it was like a weird vibe. And yeah, eventually she like, she crawled into the driver's seat, sort of like got into the vehicle over his lap, sort of forced her way in, I guess. And then they were in the car and they just drove away. I wasn't sure what the nature of the argument was or what. It just seems like there was some sort of disagreement and some sort of like shutting. I don't know why she would have entered through the driver's door. I thought that was strange. And yeah, so I thought about calling it in, but as soon as I walked up this bar, there was another gentleman who was already calling it in, so I was like, oh, good on you. That seems a bit off. I wasn't really supposed to do in that situation, but that's what I saw, and if there's any other specific questions, I'm happy to try to answer.
Did you ever see the male strike the female?
I would say that I think I saw maybe a push or a shove, but not like a full-on punch to the face or anything.
Was the shove was the shove or push an aggression towards her, or was it a defensive maneuver away from her or to get her away from him?
That's a good question. It was unclear what was going on to me, but it did seem like he was. It seemed like he was trying to close off the passenger side of the vehicle and close things up. It almost seemed like he put that backpack or something on the back of the vehicle, I'm not sure. And then he was stepping in and she was out trying to get in. So maybe,
okay.
I don't, it was, the whole thing was off. And so, no, I didn't see anything that was like him taking after her or hitting her or vice versa. It was kind of light and they were almost kind of laughing and I wasn't sure if they were just joking around, to be honest, but then it got more strange as he was in the vehicle about to drive off.
But you did see her slapping him, though, it sounds like.
Yes, it was like, my memory is he was in the driver's seat and she has the driver's door open and she's like kind of hitting him either in the arm or maybe on the face, maybe with an open hand, like, hey, let me in, don't be a jerk, something like that.
Okay. Well, your story is really, really helpful because you're an independent witness and we've just interviewed both of them. And what you're saying is making everything make a lot of sense. So I really appreciate that I ran into you and that I was able to get your number and talk to you. So thank you very much.
So it sounds like the gist of this witness statement is this. The witness sees Mr. Laundrie in the driver's seat of the van. Miss Petito is outside the van, and she's trying to get in the van, but Mr. Laundrie won't let her in. So she opens the driver's door, argues with him, slaps him a few times, and then crawls in the van over him. The witness said that Mr. Laundrie pushed her away at one point, but never hit her. So that's all the evidence gathered by the officers in this investigation. We got Mr. Laundrie's statement, Miss Petito's statement, one witness statement, and some scratches on both Mr. Laundrie and Miss Petito. Again, I would have liked to have gotten more detail on those statements, but this is what we got. This is what we have to make our decision with. The Utah statute on domestic violence states that when a peace officer responds to a domestic violence call and has probable cause to believe that an act of domestic violence has been committed, the peace officer shall arrest without warrant or shall issue a citation to any person that the peace officer has probable cause to believe has committed an act of domestic violence. In this case, it seems pretty obvious that it was a little bit of a back and forth between Miss Petito and Mr. Laundrie. They both have marks, they both probably hit each other. In a case like this, the law encourages a police officer to arrest the primary aggressor. The primary aggressor is not necessarily the person who started the fight, but it's going to be the person that the evidence points to as being the most aggressive throughout the fight. So the officer has to take all those little facts into account. Who has more injuries? Who started the fight? Who called 911? Did either party try to walk away from the fight and discontinue while the other party kept going? Things like that. The officer has to take everything into account and make a decision, and a lot of times it's a tough decision. And in this case here, the statements point towards Miss Petito being the primary aggressor. She admits to slapping him and punching him in the arm while he's driving. Mr. Laundrie attributes the scratches on his face to her slapping him, and Miss Petito denies that the scratches on her face are from Mr. Laundrie. I'm sure he most definitely caused those scratches on her, but she's denying it, protecting him. And again, I would have really liked to gotten a better statement about how he locked her out of the van and why, and more specifics on her efforts to get back into the van, because I don't think he had the right to lock her out of that van. And the fact that she's exercising her right to get back into that van is going to play into the decision on whether to charge her or not. However, we don't have that information, and with the information that we do have, Miss Petito would be deemed the primary aggressor.
Now, the problem with her being the primary aggressor is in an instance of domestic assault, be it a male or be it a female, we shall arrest. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they have to go to jail. We can do a citation if it meets one of three criterion, which one of them is that we can ensure that they're not going to further risk each other's safety. But the problem with that is they live in the same vehicle.
That's what I was going to say. The other part of it is
there was actually an injury too to the victim, which is him.
So Officer Pratt is exactly right here. If the officers have probable cause to arrest, the Utah State Code says they shall make that arrest. The code also says they can issue a written promise to appear in lieu of arrest if the officers can ensure the violence won't continue. I personally think that part of the code should be deleted. I mean, how are you going to ensure that the violence won't continue? Even if you separate them, have one person spend the night somewhere else, they can easily get back together at some point. Then tempers may flare and the fight might start up again. So if there's any police officers watching this, and you run into a domestic violence call and have probable cause to arrest one of the parties, make that arrest. Do not issue a ticket, take them to jail. That arrest will serve notice that the state takes domestic violence seriously, and that they may be punished for it. That arrest will also ensure a cooling off period for the parties, which will diminish the chance of domestic violence continuing once they get back together. So it's pretty obvious throughout the contact that the officers don't want to arrest Miss Petito because she's a woman and it was a minor domestic assault. Had they determined that Mr. Laundrie was the primary aggressor, I think they would have just made that arrest and went on with their day. But since they've determined that Miss Petito was the primary aggressor, they try to find a way out of making that arrest. Officer Pratt calls the assistant chief for advice.
I told her, look, there's not anything I can do. This is all written into freaking statute. I just said the last thing I can do is call a supervisor and see if where this is such a minor. There's like a slap fight, and the injury is from a fingernail. I just don't know if it's worth the whole domestic thing or not, or if it's going to get some trouble if we don't do it this way.
The assistant chief's advice was basically this: read the code and do what the code says. I personally think this is kind of poor leadership. I mean, what are you there for if you can't give an officer advice when he's stuck? Anybody could have given Officer Pratt that advice. Anyways, Officer Pratt reads the code.
Assault is an attempt with unlawful force or violence to do bodily injury to another. So did she attempt to do bodily injury to him?
She went to smack him.
Was it her intention to do him bodily injury? Now, that's what we have to find out, because it says bodily injury is, that by definition, physical pain, illness, or any impairment of physical condition.
Well, he's got a swollen right eye.
We don't care what the result was, we care about the intent.
So we gotta go find intent.
So Officer Pratt's seizing on this part of the code of intent. He's saying, did Miss Petito intend to cause Mr. Laundrie physical pain when she slapped him? Well, no matter what she says, the answer is probably yes. If you slap somebody, you're trying to cause them pain. Now, a more thorough interview could have revealed that she slapped him because she was trying to get in the van or trying to get her property back, and that might have changed things, but the interview wasn't that thorough. So they go back to Miss Petito to find out her intent when she slapped Mr. Laundrie.
Gabby, this is a very, very important question. How you answer this question is going to determine what happens next. But the only person who can answer this question is you. Think very hard before you answer the question. Do not quickly answer. Think very hard. When you slapped him those times, were you attempting to cause him physical pain or physical impairment? Was that what you were attempting to do to him? What were you attempting to do? What was the reason behind the slapping and stuff? What was it you were attempting to accomplish by slapping?
I was trying to get him to stop telling me something.
Well, it doesn't sound to me like she attempted to injure him. It's your call.
Ultimately, the officers decide not to arrest anybody. 38 days later, Miss Petito's body was found in a forest in Wyoming. She was murdered by Brian Laundrie about 15 days after this traffic stop. Could her arrest at this traffic stop prevented her death? That's a question that will never get answered. I get these officers not wanting to arrest a female for a minor domestic assault. I've been there. I've been to many calls where I didn't want to make the arrest. But ultimately, I've probably arrested a few dozen females for domestic violence. One of the ways I rationalize it is that I tell myself I'm trying to prevent a situation that happened to Miss Petito. If there's a female assaulting a male during a relationship, it's probably a toxic relationship. And during a relationship like that, emotions run hot, and the aggression could easily turn against the female. Spending a night in jail might make them consider the toxic nature of their relationship, and maybe that arrest convinces them to get out of that situation. On October 20th, Brian Laundrie's remains were found on the Carlton Nature Reserve in Florida. He had died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. In a notebook found near his body, Mr. Laundrie confesses to murdering Miss Petito. The Moab Police Department conducted an independent investigation of the traffic stop. The investigator found several issues with the officers' decisions, the most glaring of which was the failure to arrest Miss Petito. The Petito family is suing the Moab Police Department for $50 million. There are two major lessons for police officers to come out of this incident. Number one, conduct thorough investigations. Do thorough interviews and interview every witness. The initial 911 caller in this case was never interviewed. Lesson number two, make that arrest. If you determine a primary aggressor in a domestic violence case, arrest that person. That's it for episode 22 of the Force Review. I will see you on the next one.